Hi, I am Monica Brant, one of the world's first true fitness pioneers starting back in 1991. I helped launch the fitness industry while traveling internationally, meeting fans worldwide to share my style of fitness to the bodybuilding community. After a decade of fitness competitions, I earned one of the world's most prestigious titles, the IFBB Fitness Olympia Championships. Moving into the new millennium, I was the first IFBB Fitness Olympia athlete to transition into the new professional figure division and compete for close to another 20 years. After 15 years as an IFBB professional, I tried another organization and won the WBFF World Pro Figure Championships both 2010 and 2013. I am a true athlete and made my way into racing into the Masters USATF sprint events, placing top 3 at the World's Masters track meet in all 3 events, the 100, 200, and 400 meter races. Besides athletics, I have been honored with over 100 magazine covers both nationally and internationally. Since it's always a blessing to share with others, over the last 15 years, I've hosted women's fitness events and worked with clients, helping them discover how to live radiantly in all areas of life, body, mind, soul, and spirit. The Monica Brant Show is one of the ways I am honoring the legendary athletes, powerhouse individuals, and nutrition gurus that have laid a strong foundation in the past, help keep the current industry flowing, and offer inspiration to the next generations. Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday night. I'm Monica Brant. You are with us here on the Monica Brant Talk Show, and I've got my beautiful co-host, Sarah Lyons, Mrs. Sarah Lyons Glabman. Hello, darling.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be back, Monica. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining. You look lovely.
So do you.
Thank you. You look like you just stepped out of a salon.
Well, yeah, the Allison Pin Salon. Salon of her own, right?
Yes, the traveling salons. I know I had my hair and makeup gal come, and Barbara, and come fill me in with all the glam.
Yes, ma'am. Looking fine, looking real fine.
Thank you. And I just noticed my magazine cover is not here. Do you know where it is and why?
No.
It's over here. Because we were doing photos earlier, Mike kind of set up photos, right? You saw it, and we wanted the magazine to be behind me over here, and I forgot to move it back over here. I need
got a home on the wall somewhere.
It does. Well, welcome everybody. Let us know where you're coming in from. We're so excited. Tonight's going to be, as always, a very special night. We've got a wonderful lady to talk to, and super excited about all of her great information and all that she's done. And I don't know. It's very exciting for me. You too, Sarah?
She's a huge, huge part of the really, really important times of the bodybuilding and fitness industry. So yes, it's really going to be awesome talking to her.
I agree. I have my own set of memories from her, but there's some stuff I didn't realize as I've known her for years and talked to her over the course and had her do some work for me over the years because she's really good at writing and, all these kind of, putting words together nicely. Right. And there was a part that she and I were talking about the show that she shared with me, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know that. That was new for me. So it's fun when you get to start talking to people, and that's what this show is all about. It's about talking to these past legendary icons, bodybuilding, fitness people, powerhouse industry people that have helped create the industry that you and I have been a part of for so long. And so without further ado, do we have anybody coming in from a crazy long ways away? I see New York. Welcome, New York. And I'm sorry, my eyesight's so bad. I got to go over here to my big screen. California in the house. Hi. Legends. What'd you say?
Indiana, Virginia.
Yes. Yeah, there we go. Welcome, everyone. Okay, so without any further ado, I'm super excited to bring you guys a good friend of mine. Like I said, she's helped me and worked with me over the years outside of being the editor for Oxygen Magazine for quite a few years and doing an amazing job there. That's just one of the magazines that she's been an editor for and that she's helped produce and go through. I mean, I don't even know what it takes to be an editor, but I know, Sarah, you do. A little bit, right? But this gal, she's also a published author. We're going to be talking about her book. She's got a really cool platform that she's created for wellness for women, women's health and wellness. And I'm super excited. She's a mom and a wife, and she is Canadian living in the USA. So Kona, bring in Miss Kerrie Lee Brown's intro video, please. Welcome to the Monica Brant Show. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you so much. I'm trying to stay in the middle here between you beautiful ladies.
I know. I move around a lot too sometimes. It's like catching up with, and I got one of these chairs that, kind of rotates, and sometimes I catch myself doing that. So, Well, how's your evening going?
Everything is going great. I'm so excited to be on here. Thanks so much for asking me, ladies, and to be on here with you, to see you on here, to see all your fans pop up and everything. I see some familiar names there already. Karen Brown from Ontario, where I'm from. Hi, Karen. John Butler, we used to work with. So, yeah, there's a lot of people who I'm recognizing. So thanks for joining in.
Well, I have to tell you, if we had a fourth spot, we would have brought John in because he was like, my good friend Kerrie's on.
Yeah.
It would have been fun. We would have had, another little set. It reminds me of like the Brady's Bunch where they had all the different 8 little boxes and they're all looking at each other.
I know, right? All look side to side.
Yeah. So without further ado, I'm so excited to have you on too, Kerrie, and we've got a couple little housekeeping things to do. First of all, I want to shout out and say thank you to my sponsors. We couldn't do this show without the sponsorship, and with that said, we have 2 giveaways tonight. So let me get to my giveaway questions. Okay, so as this works, the first person that comes up with the answer and puts it in the comment section. Please don't direct message me because I won't get that till like weeks down the road, but it has to be in the comment section. Just the first person that comes up with the right answer gets a giveaway. So our first giveaway for Legendary Foods, which has really awesome Pop-Tart kind of snacks and flavored almonds and nut butters, and it's amazing. So the first question, you guys ready, set, go. How many Oxygen magazine covers was I on while Kerrie was the editor? I almost said the answer because I'm reading. So I'm like, that's not good. Okay, so that's one question. And just so I say this, it has to be a USA resident. I'm sorry we can't ship out of the states right now. So please keep it in the USA. And then the second question for Egg White International is, what is the main theme for Kerrie's book, My Heart, Myself? There's a theme about this book. So the first answers for those questions will win the giveaway. Sarah, you can't answer.
I'm just here.
Okay, and then we're going to give the answers, not the answers, we're going to give the winners away at the end of the show, so you guys have to stay tuned for the whole thing because you're going to learn a lot and have some fun. So we force you into staying here and having fun with us. So anyways, so Kerrie, can you share with us about what's going on with you guys in Colorado now? I know your kids are probably back in school, and what's going on with your husband, and just share this, kind of what's happened in this stage of life for you and your family.
Yes, I can. You're right. The first, this is the beginning of school this week. The kids just went back yesterday. So it's been kind of crazy working with that. My little one, who's 11, just started middle school, but of course he's starting remotely for the first 2 weeks, and then we'll go to a hybrid kind of one day in, one day out type of thing in September. So we're trying to work through that right now. My 15-year-old, he's in high school. He's a junior this year, and just turned 16 on Sunday, funny enough. So yeah, so school's a big thing. In life in Colorado here is absolutely beautiful. Of course, for those of you who know me, I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Yay! And
I like that.
Yay! And we just moved here. We've been here almost 6 years now in Colorado, just outside of Denver in Littleton, and we love it. We came here for a work opportunity. So I left my media jobs back in Toronto to come here with my husband and my 2 kids to pursue a lot of different business opportunities, which I'm sure we'll go into. And of course, I'm still in the magazine world right now. I'm actually currently by day the editor or the executive editor of Denver Life magazine. So I've really tried to immerse myself here in the culture and the people and the luxury life and the resorts, and because that's what our magazine covers here at Denver Life. So yeah, I mean, other than that, right now we're dealing with the fires right now in the mountains. I don't know if you've heard much about them here, but the brush fires are pretty bad here right now. And so, you can kind of smell the must in the air. We're right by the mountains at the foothills. So you can kind of see it, and the sun, wow, the sun is so bright red right now just from all of the mist and the kind of the smog from it all. So it's really a shame. We're praying for everyone out in the mountains. Yeah, and I mean, everything, I have my whole story, basically. You let me know what you want me to share about my evolution to get here to Colorado and kind of where I come from. Just let me know.
Wow. Well, first of all, welcome again to the United States.
Thank you.
Yes. I know you've been here for a little while, but can you tell us, is your husband a United States citizen, or how did you guys actually get here and stay here? How are you here?
Actually, all 4 of us are Canadian. We're all from Canada. My husband got an opportunity. He's worked in the nutritional supplement world for his whole career. So he got an opportunity to move here for a job in that. So I left my media position back in Toronto. We all kind of decided as a family that, we needed an adventure. We wanted to get away from the hustle and bustle of Toronto life, even though I'm still a city girl at heart and I love Toronto. But we just needed a change. We needed a change of atmosphere. There was a lot going on with my health at the time. And I just needed a break from the kind of the craziness of the commuting. So we moved here, and my husband has since left that job, funny enough, and started his own businesses. And he's still doing sports nutrition for the motocross and the extreme sports world. And he also owns an electrical engineering company here now in Denver. So kind of a little bit of a different shift, but entrepreneurial all the same. And we both own a business called Action Brands, which is basically the parent company for my passion project and something I really am proud about, which is Red Lily. And I know we'll talk about that a lot, in a little ways. But yeah, I'm still doing what I love to do. I'm writing, I'm editing, I'm helping aspiring authors and journalists write their own books now that I've written mine and self-published. Yeah, and I've got some really cool things in the works to help women basically share their stories. And I think that's kind of my main mission as well, not only from a professional perspective, but from a personal perspective. I've always wanted to give other people a voice since I've been a journalist for over 20 years, and I've always had platforms to write or to broadcast my message. I now feel that it's really important for others just to give them a platform to help them share their stories and their life journeys. So that's kind of a little bit of a background without telling too much about exactly what I'm doing.
That's awesome. So I guess staying in the United States, is that a permanent thing for you guys? Do you have citizenships here now?
No, so we're here we have our green cards now. So what happened was, yeah, you did ask me that and I didn't say exactly, but we came here on work visas. There's a lot of red tape coming through to the U.S., especially doing it the right way. We worked with an immigration lawyer for 3 years to get the four of us to the point where we could get our green cards. So all four of us, me, my husband, and our two kids have our green cards, and we will pursue dual citizenship. Probably in a couple of years when we're eligible. Basically, you have to have your green card and be a green card holder for a few years before you can actually apply to be dual citizens. But we will never ever give up our Canadian citizenship. That is for sure. There's a guarantee there. But I would like to pursue the dual citizenship because then there'll be more opportunities for my kids down the road to work here and for us to go back and forth over the border a lot easier, less hassle. And if we end up moving back to Canada one day, we can do that. And then we can always move back to the States again with no issues. Because there's a lot of red tape. So that's why one of the benefits is to having a dual citizenship.
Well, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. What about right now with COVID? Are you guys able to go back to Canada, or do you guys just stay and put? Or like, what does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, it's really, I haven't been home. Well, when I say home, my original home in Ontario since Christmas last December. I usually go home to see my dad, my sister, my niece, and of course my friends back there every 2 to 3 months. But it's been on hold. So since COVID hit, we've been watching the news and trying to stay on top of all of the border regulations, because right now, I mean, I can go across to Canada to visit, but then there would be the 14-day quarantine. And if I were to only want to go for 5 days or a long weekend, I wouldn't be able to do that right now because there's the quarantine. And if I were to go for 2 weeks, I'd have to stay at one person's house and not be able to visit with friends. Mm-hmm. So it's it almost defeats the purpose going when I go home to visit quite a few people in one go and see my girlfriends and all that. So it's kind of hard. We're also having some issues with even my sister coming to visit because we've had plans for her and my niece to come in April and we had to bump that. And again, because the quarantine. So it's been difficult. It's you don't always think of Canada and the US having these kind of struggles when it comes to borders and crossings and what the government's, allowing or not. But it's reality, and it's been a struggle. It's added to my stress level this year, and I'm sure tons of other Canadians who want to go home to visit family and friends as well. So we're watching the news. We're hoping maybe by Christmas things change a little bit, and I can come home for a shorter period of time without the restrictions. But if not, it'll have to be 2021. I mean, there's not really much I can do at this point.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I know that's really tough to be away from family. And yeah, I've got an older brother and he's about 2 hours away, and it's tough because we miss him so much and we can drive, and so
yeah,
my heart goes out to you and your family and not being able to connect. Are you guys doing the Zooms and kind of catching up FaceTime or Zooms or something?
All the time. My dad, almost 80 years old, and he's always FaceTiming us and everything. Talk to him all the time. My sister, of course, my sister Karen, say hi because I know she's watching right now.
Aw, hi sis.
And my niece Bella, and we talk all the time. And my good friends too. I mean, thank God for social media and everything. I know there's some downfalls to social media, but you know what? When you live away in a different country and so much has gone on, not only with COVID and all the restrictions, but recently, my husband had a really, traumatic health experience or heart attack as well. And so I think that, in order to keep everyone abreast of what's going on, it's great to have Facebook and FaceTime and those kind of things when you're away from family. So yeah, it's interesting this time, what's going on right now. So
yeah, that had to be very hard to walk through the health scare with your husband and then not really have family around to kind of fall into their arms.
Yeah. And I mean, so we're kind of, for those of, people who don't know, but my husband, Craig, had a massive heart attack almost a month ago now. And he actually went into cardiac arrest for 9 minutes. So he didn't have oxygen to the brain for almost 10 minutes. And it was like life or death situation, literally. And he had got flight to life from one hospital to the next. And it was really touch and go for a little while there. And, he's 50 years old. And I mean, it just goes to show that, at any age and any gender, you really have to look after your health and go to your regular doctor checkups and watch your cholesterol and blood pressure at our age and everything. And it's things that, you don't necessarily think can affect you, but it can, and it can catch up with you. And similar to me, I had a heart experience as well 7 years ago when I had my heart attack, and I had to have a cardiac ablation done to rectify an electrical issue on my heart. So it's just funny, both of us have had these major heart issues, but it definitely kind of resonates with us as to why we really have to be careful in that area, and why a lot of my personal and professional work has been around the heart health awareness advocacy route. And so now that this has happened to my husband, it almost reaffirms that, I'm on the best route that I could go to be able to bring the messaging to men and women really about watching their heart health. And so that's a whole other area that I'm still kind of journeying through. And thankfully my husband's obviously okay and he's healing at home now. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Out of this, Kerrie, he's doing well, and there's positive progression there for him.
Yeah, so he's doing well. He has a cardiologist nearby now because the hospital that he ended up at was actually a 2.5 hour drive away from home. Oh, wow. So I was going up and down every day. And talk about COVID, because there were such restrictions at the hospital that the kids couldn't visit him at all the whole time he was there. And I had to go back and forth, and they wouldn't let me stay in the hospital overnight. And so there's a lot of, difficulties there, which I know a lot of other families are obviously going through as well with their own, family members in hospitals and everything. But yeah, it was really traumatic, but he's getting through. He's on the mend. I don't know if anyone knows what, severe CPR is like and using the defibrillator, but the EMTs, they did such an amazing job, and they kept him alive and until the ambulance got there. And there was 4 of them taking turns on his chest. So he ended up with collapsed lungs and, broken ribs and everything. And he's still healing from those injuries. But on the flip side, thank God he's here, and they did do what they had to do to save him. So very, very fortunate. It's just something, again, add to the year 2020 for us, right? COVID and of course my husband's heart attack was pretty major and hit us pretty bad.
Wow. Absolutely. And you said he was out with your son, right? You told me he was out with your son at a racetrack.
Yeah. So my son, he's 16 now. Connor is a nationally ranked motocross racer. And they were at a race down near La Junta, Colorado, which is about almost 4 hours drive from where we are in Denver. And when you go out to these racetracks, you're pretty much in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's really remote. There's a big track, and everybody brings their trailers, and it's your typical kind of race weekend. Craig was there with Connor only, and Connor was there when Craig actually collapsed. And, Craig was in the trailer. He broke the TV in our trailer with his head. Like, it was a major fall. And Connor was the one who actually got the EMTs to help him, like, right away. He acted really fast. He was basically Craig's hero because, without Connor being there, he wouldn't have had the attention of the EMTs that were actually at the track as well. And we found out last week that it took almost 29 minutes for the ambulance to get to the track. That's how kind of remote they were at this motocross race. So if the EMTs hadn't jumped on him and started doing what they, had to do to keep him alive, then, he wouldn't have been here today. So Connor, our 15-year-old, is a real hero, and he saved his dad's life, basically. And then those EMTs obviously were the ones who, physically saved his life. So we're very fortunate. But the motocross community, I mean, it's just like, any community. If you're in the hockey community, you're in the sports community, or any kind of community, they really came together and helped out Craig on that time. And I got the phone call. I was actually at the hockey rink with my other son, my 11-year-old who plays hockey, and got the call from my 15-year-old, and he was just, beside himself. And of course, I just jumped in the car and we rushed all the way to the hospital. So it was pretty traumatic. It was like a movie when I look back on it, of how much chaos and not knowing, and talking to the EMTs. And then they told him, they took him to one hospital, but they couldn't kind of deal with the situation. So they had to do a flight for life, a helicopter to the other trauma center. And I was talking to the EMTs, trying to get the information, and very chaotic for all of us. But mostly Craig, of course. And so, we've been through a lot this summer, and I think as a family, you just have to pull together and do the best you can do on all levels, whether it's, physical healing, emotionally, psychologically. You just have to pull together, and you have to realize, what really matters in life. So, but big shout out to all of my family, our family and friends back home and around Denver, of course, who were there for me, whether it just be on the phone or FaceTime or whatever. So many people offered to fly out to help us during that time from Ontario, of course. But, given restrictions with COVID and everything, and we wanted to see how things went, it didn't really have to happen. But now, thankfully, Craig's home and doing well, and he's gotten the okay to drive from his cardiologist. And so, he's come a long way in just like a month, and the doctors and surgeons really said that, luckily he's a strong guy, a strong strapping guy, and, looks after his health, and that's how we got through it.
Well, I'm pretty impressed that within a month he's okay to drive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Back to work. And you can't keep him from work. It's, like all of us, it keeps us driven, and it's our passion, and, keeps us sane. And so he was back to work as soon as he could. And, like right now he's just obviously healing physically. Of course, his chest is still killing him, but he ended up having 3 stents put in his heart, and, major heart surgery to save his life. So we're thankful, obviously, that he's here, and we can kind of move on from this and learn a ton of lessons, including the kids.
Wow. That's just such a big story amongst everything else. Like, Sarah, can you imagine driving 3 or 4 hours to the hospital, and having to drive because you had the younger child who can't drive?
Right. And that's the thing, like my youngest one was on the ice, literally doing his practice, and grabbed him off, still in his uniform. And again, I was trying to talk to EMTs, not knowing exactly which hospital to go to. I just knew it was a long drive, and calling Canada and calling, Craig's dad and my dad and, my sister. And so it was pretty chaotic. When I think back now, it was a lot. But, when you're going through those kind of traumatic moments and those real, life moments that are critical, you just move through. It's adrenaline, and you just have to do what you have to do. So anyway, that's kind of what we had to do. And that's the best thing we could.
I bet a big reunion when he got home. Like
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
family,
I
well,
mean,
you know, your immediate family reunion and just
yeah, immediate.
having them
And our
back.
neighbors too, though. We had amazing neighbors here. Mike and Ann next door. They bought pizza for the kids, and there was a lot of comfort around. And even the hockey community, of course, my son's hockey community and the friends there, they all chipped in, and were there to take. Because the rest of the week, when I was going back and forth to hospital, I tried to keep life as normal as possible for the kids because they couldn't go to the hospital with me. So still tried to make arrangements to get my youngest Brock to the hockey rink and to practice, and have meals at home and everything. So it was tough, but we got through it.
Well, I mean, you don't wear just one hat,
No,
all of us, we wear multiple hats, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
take one off and put the one on and go. And that's what women do. I think that's how God made us, to be that helper and to be able to handle things. That's why females have babies, I really think.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, even if women don't have babies, it's still that, juggling act. And that
I mean, why God made the female body to have babies as opposed to the male.
Oh.
Like we have different coping skills than men do, and men have different ones than we do, I think. So, God made us we blend well. We're supposed to anyways.
The yin yang, for sure.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome. Well, I'm just curious, and Sarah, I'm assuming you are too, because Sarah, is a publisher now for a little over 2 years, right? You've been publishing BodyScape Magazine.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that you may be chomping at the bit a little bit to ask some questions about how Kerrie got into, Muscle Mag and Oxygen editorial place. Like, that's huge. So,
Well,
I know that's not the only place, but I'm sure you have some questions maybe you'd like to ask her.
When Kerrie and I were speaking initially, and we had our kind of initial like, "Hi, I'm Kerrie. Hi, I'm Sarah," and I was sending her my information, and she goes, "Your name sounds kind of familiar. Were you with Muscle Tech back in the day?" And I said, "No, I wasn't with Muscle Tech, but I was with Muscle Mag. We were published all the time, and Bob photographed me, and I've been there with a whole lot of other photographers that shot back then for Muscle Mag. So I was being published during the time that Kerrie was working with Bob.
Yeah.
And I was like, you probably know my name from something else, not from being with Muscle Tech. She goes, oh my gosh, that's right. That's exactly where I know you from. So it was cool to talk to you on that level, knowing that, okay, so you were there, I was there during that time, and now you're doing these amazing things with Denver Life and with Red Lily Life, which you will get to shortly, I'm obsessed, by the way. Great job.
Good, thank you.
And with me publishing BodyScape, after, I'm curious to know, I'm a new publisher. This is issue 8 that has just come out of my magazine.
Woo! So pretty, so pretty.
And the magazine's amazing. But Kerrie, I want to know, hook me up with some tips, tell me what I be doing, because things are so different now than they were back then when you were publishing the newsstand, Oxygen, Muscle Mag magazine, and you were in there editing and everything like that. What's different from now until then?
Oh my goodness, do you have a couple hours? You know what? There's a lot of things that are different. I'm really fortunate right now to have a print magazine job still at Denver Life Magazine. We're a print publication, and we have a digital version as well. But I think one of the biggest things that's changed in publishing since I was the editor of Oxygen and even the founding editor of American Health and Fitness Magazine is that we okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Everything has gone, a lot of things have gone digital. And I think that, and you know this more than anyone, Sarah, is that, a lot of publications have gone to, print on demand or subscription-based models. And back in the day when I was, entering into the world of journalism right out of university, everything was print, and the newsstands were much bigger, and you saw so many more titles, all over the grocery stores and the drugstores and pharmacies and everything. But nowadays those newsstands have really gotten a lot smaller. So I think one of the biggest changes is that. Another thing that's really changed since I'm dating myself now, of course, but since I was at those publications is social media and web presence. And, that is huge. I mean, I remember, when I was at Muscle Mag, I was the assistant editor there when I first graduated from journalism school. That was my first real job in journalism and editorial. And we didn't even have a website at the time, at all. And Muscle Mag had been going for years. And it was a very, very popular publication for bodybuilders, Muscle Mag International, with many, many hundreds of foreign and international editions in different languages. And we didn't even have a website. So it kind of goes to show the importance of websites and social presence now in publications and publishing and photography and even content. And so that's something I now have really kind of embraced, doing my own platform for women called redlilylife.com. And also we're trying to do a Denver Life, where we're trying to really have an online social presence that kind of reflects the time and copy and content that's relevant today. So
it's so interesting. When I started BodyScape, it was just this kind of, editorial tool for me to finally showcase all my work that I've done after the past 12 plus years of being a preferred photographer in the fitness industry, right? Man, yeah, you do have to build a website. You do have to have everything's got to be dialed in. And I'm like, what did I just sign up for here? This is completely else. But I can't be more rewarded in what I do as well. Creating and creating this little empire outside of PictureGroove, my original photography brand, has been nothing short of just completely heart-filling for me. And I think it's different going from a company to a single person trying to put all of these things together in one element, right? You're just trying to constantly figure things out. But I don't think you can really do it a right way or a wrong way. It's just whatever way feels right. And that's kind of what BodyScape is. It's a combination of contributing writers. It's a combination of my awesome photojournalism. It's a combination of telling the stories of the people who are featured in the magazine. And that's kind of what I want to focus on, is telling the stories and it being more than just one page long, right? So that's what I'm doing. And it's just really fun to talk to you with all of your history, with Muscle Mag, with Oxygen, with everything that you're doing now moving forward. It's really just fun to talk to you about this.
Thank you. Well, one of the biggest things is, I get asked all the time, because journalists often get a bad rap, especially here in the States, lately with political things going on and everything. Right. But I went to school in Canada, and we kind of learned a different kind of journalism route with ethics and that. But anyway, in the fitness and health realm, I was able to give a lot of competitors and athletes a voice in the pages, and whether that be online or in actual print. And I think that is what really resonates with me, no matter what publication I've ever worked at. At one point, I left Oxygen and Muscle Mag and American Health and Fitness to go to the corporate world, where I was, I entered the marketing and PR kind of area, being vice president communications at a mind body company. But I chose to leave there after 5 years and go back to publishing, because what I loved so much about it was I was able to give people a voice. And like you said, Sarah, it's an expression of not only the person who's putting together the publication or the people who work on the publication, but it's also an avenue to give other people a voice. And I went on then from health and wellness to the parenting world, and I went to executive editor of Today's Parent Magazine, which is a Rogers Media publication in Canada, the largest parenting publication across the nation. So that was a whole other area for me, but I was a young mom and it was very close to my heart, all of the content. But again, no matter what publication you work at or you run, it's always nice to know that, you're given this editorial kind of platform to be able to share your words, share a message, and hopefully do good in the world by sharing, your words. So that's kind of what I love so much about what I do. And then I've been very, very fortunate to be able to, appear on a lot of TV shows and talk shows and broadcast news kind of stations to be able to share my message of what I'm promoting in the magazine. So that's kind of, a little bit of what I've done as a journalist and as an editor-in-chief. And I know a lot of your fans, Monica, obviously are very familiar with my days at Oxygen as editor-in-chief. And before that with American Health and Fitness, which was Robert Kennedy's first kind of mainstream men's title. And that was really fun as well. I was there for 5 years. So
were you in did you go from Oxygen to the Parent or Parent to the Oxygen? I lost that.
No, so I was with Robert Kennedy, right?
First.
For almost 10 years.
Okay, and then you went to the Parent magazine publication.
Yeah, I went to a parenting magazine after that to just, the reason why really was to get some more real mainstream experience in publishing. It was just like a different kind of consumer market outside of health and wellness.
You wanted to get away from all the bikinis. That's what it was.
Well, yeah, no. Kind of. But,
kind of.
No.
It's so funny you say mainstream because, you look back at, when I was in California for the 10 years that I was there, for the majority of them, anything that I went to that was considered mainstream, they said I was always too muscular for, and that, they didn't want to they didn't want to have anything to do with any of my magazine covers.
Right.
And now it's like, muscles everywhere, and muscles mainstream now. Jillian Michaels, and there's so many. That's the first one that came to mind. But there's so many of these women now that are known for their great physiques, and it's like I was just there too early. But it's funny because you say mainstream, and I'm like, well, now it's all mainstream. Back then it was like, oh no, we can't use Muscle and Fitness cover or Oxygen because it's not mainstream enough. But
yeah. We're talking 10 years ago, right, when I actually left to go to the parenting magazine. And, it's changed a lot because you're right. So many more women and men, for that matter, are really taking note of their own health nowadays. We thought they were back then, but it was a lot more niche back then. So when I said I worked at Oxygen, women's fitness, a lot of people were like, ooh, it's kind of, they're bodybuilder women. And I was always a huge advocate of the women in Oxygen, of course, as you know.
Wait. Wait. They look good too.
Oh, yeah. And now people aspire to be like that. It's just crazy.
There were so many women that I photographed in my early stages that was the end all goal, right?
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how hard, as a new photographer breaking into the industry back in 2008, 2009, they're like, wait a minute, you're not Robert Reif. Wait a minute, you're not Mike Nephew.
Yeah.
We don't accept any photos except for that level of caliber, right? So, but that was always the goal, was to get into Oxygen, even if it's what was that called? The Future of Fitness.
Future Stars. Yeah, Future Fitness.
Future Fitness Stars. That was it. They just wanted a piece of it. They wanted to land at least a piece of a page, even if it was a quarter of a page. So Oxygen was the staple.
Well, it was really the Bible, right, of the fitness industry at the time. And I must admit, like I've freelanced, written articles for over 150 publications worldwide. So I've written for other fitness magazines, Muscle and Fitness, Fitness RX, Pilates Style, Strength and Conditioning, tons of other fitness, magazines all over the world. And I still think that Oxygen is the one that, most people resonate with. I always obviously come back to that in my bios, my profiles and portfolio, because it really resonated with the woman who felt that, working out and looking good because they work out and being healthy was the way to go. And it is certainly a lifestyle. And we always tried to exemplify that in the magazine. And I know they still do today, even though obviously I'm not with the publication anymore. But I felt that, Oxygen at the time was certainly a leader. I was sad to leave it behind, but everyone has to move on in their career and go different, avenues to, kind of expand their skill set. And that's kind of why I left. But I loved my time there. And starting out at Muscle Mag as assistant editor right out of journalism school was pretty extreme. In journalism school, I actually thought I would have gone into fashion journalism. That was kind of my original thought, my interest. And then Yeah, can you imagine? And then I fell into fitness, and a friend of mine, introduced me to Robert Kennedy, and then we got talking, and he was looking for an assistant editor. And I was obviously just graduating from journalism school looking for a break, and he gave it to me. And, I learned a lot of the ropes of how to build magazines, how to sustain a magazine in a competitive market, and like firsthand from Robert Kennedy. And he was certainly my first and, one of my biggest mentors at the time. And going to all of the, Mr. Olympias and the Arnold Classics and everything in Columbus, Ohio for many, many years. I think I went to the Olympia 12 years in a row in Vegas. I know, Monica, you probably beat me with that one.
Yeah.
But, probably.
Still a lot, though.
It's crazy because I still look back at those days as my biggest kind of lesson and journalism kind of experience, even though I've worked at many, many magazines since.
Well, I think you have a friend here that thinks you left Muscle Mag and Oxygen because he left, John Butler.
Of course he could think that.
We'll let you have that, John, for sure.
John and I are still in touch and everything, and I know that he's a big goofball, but I love you, John, and he's always been a huge supporter of me and you, Monica, of course, and Sarah, and all of my kind of, magazines and avenues and my, my business adventures. So thanks, John. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, he's definitely a good
Carrie about maybe a future position with BodyScape at some point.
There you go.
Ooh, wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be amazing? We'd love to have you involved.
Yes.
So I have to just tell you too, I really missed having you at Oxygen. When you left, it wasn't the same. It really wasn't. And there were so many things I was disappointed in over the years, following years. And I don't want to go into, those things and anything negative, but I just have to tell you, it was really sad when you left because you had so much integrity and vitality, and just wasn't the same once you left. But I am in agreement that Bob Kennedy was a huge advocate for so many of us, and he helped me in my very start as well. And I will always be thankful to the things that he said and did, and how he helped me from way back in '95 when he put me in a booth, my first booth, I think, at the Olympia, and he had pictures for me to sign from Alex Ardenti that he had actually printed up for me, and I got to sell and kept all the money. Like, I mean, you think back then, it probably wasn't that much money, but it was still the fact that he did it.
Yeah.
I didn't, and I didn't know what to do. I was brand new in this. And then when I'd make a cover of the magazine, he'd send me a $500 check. I mean, it was just stuff, and then he hired us to come out, he'd hire the athletes to come out and do guest appearances. He'd pay us all. He would take care of all of our expenses. I mean, I know everyone's got their own story, but I just know he treated us very respectful. Those of us that, I guess, maybe in a way, respected ourselves. I don't know how he treated everybody, but I know for those of us that respected ourselves and wanted to make this a business, it seemed like he really stepped up and helped us to figure out some of those pieces. And I know every time I came off the stage and he was there, I would always look for him because he always had some piece of wise advice or compliment, or, hey, you could do this differently. He was always so good about giving me a little couple nuggets, and I knew he'd watch, and I knew he knew I was going to be asking him for those nuggets. So it was just kind of a ritual for years there while I was competing on the IFBB stage, and he would be. But we can all go round and round about how awesome and his stories. But I want to kind of circle back real quick before we have to go to some other things. But I want to talk about and Kona's got some pictures of some really cool memories for everybody. Speaking of Oxygen, yay! This is the one of them that you helped put together. And I have to tell you, when I got the outfit, this gold, to be honest, I wasn't really excited about it because I just never had really worn gold. But it's interesting that somebody else has a vision for you and you roll with it because that's what you do as a model. You kind of roll with it because other people aren't going to make you look bad for the cover of a magazine. Mm-hmm. And when I got the magazine cover, I was like, oh, I love it. But, when I first put it on, I was like, gold. I don't feel like I'm a gold person. However, this is my 50th birthday year, and gold is the color for the 50th year. So
it is.
There. Yeah.
It is. And it looks, gold is great with tans, right? So, I mean, all the models had tans.
Right. Well, it was just new for me. I mean, I was still, just kind of younger. Yeah, and there we are on the editor's note. There's a picture of you and me.
Yeah.
And then this is one of my favorite articles ever. Coney must slap back over here. And I know you, obviously, as an editor of the magazine, you would have had to do with everything inside. So this article here was one of my favorites. I just love the colors. I love the feel of it. Of course, I'm not on the beach, but it looks like I'm on the beach, and it's my workout, and it's just a nice, clean, fun, and it is all of my own workout. And, that was one thing about Oxygen, and I can't say that about every magazine, but they always allowed us to, as an athlete star, which we were, y'all, Oxygen, you guys helped create stars, putting us in your magazines, and you allowed us to have our voice and share what our workouts were, not just like, here, you go do this workout. So I always appreciated that too.
Yeah, and I think that was exactly what you said about making stars out of models and people. We also featured a lot of women who didn't have a name for themselves necessarily, and we helped build them out of the future of stars and future of fitness. And I think that was really a big part of our loyalty behind our readership, because they knew that we were, highlighting women that just really tried hard at what they did and loved what they did. And you were obviously one of the biggest people we love to showcase, because you're always true to your fans, and you were authentic, and showing your actual workouts was really good for our readers. So that's why we allowed that. But I do have to give a really big shout out to the creative department that I oversaw, to the all the graphic designers at the time, the art directors, and of course the other editors who helped put the magazines together. I mean, just because you're editor-in-chief doesn't mean you do every single little bit of it, unless you're Sarah Lyons, who does do that. Because,
right?
Right?
Girl, true that. I'm like, where did my day go?
Yeah, and it depends on the size of the publication and the budgets and all that. But I know that I did have a staff. I did oversee all the content and the creative, and went to a lot of the photo shoots and worked with a lot of the contributors. But of course, it was a terrific staff too. But yeah, I love that one too, Monica.
Yeah. So Kona, why don't you share the other ones that we have up? That you've got the other covers, and then we're going to go to our rapid fire after we check out these covers and pieces that we've got here. I'm sure some of our fans are going, oh my gosh, I remember that one.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we could go into each and every one of them. I mean, I know that cover there with the 6 of us girls, that was a really, really special edition, and all those images from inside where we all had the different outfits. And I know you were there on that photo shoot. That was super, super fun. Was it 2 days shooting, I think?
Yeah, it was 3? A couple of days. And the good thing about that one, of course, was it was the 75th anniversary of the magazine, the 75th issue. So I think that was the big special part about that. And we had that many women on there, beautiful women. And that was probably the most women we've ever had on a cover. So,
and it was so cute. And of course, then all the photos were so great. We had so many different outfits. I remember some of the favorite ones I had was the jeans and the white shirt, and we were out on the beach. Like that was one of my favorite setups that we did. But of course, all of them looked great. It's the white and the silver and everything. It was super fun, and a lot of great image inside of there. So, Sarah, are you ready for some rapid fire questions? Okay.
These are just for you, girl.
Oh my goodness.
Are you ready?
So the random questions that Kerrie does not know about, they are rapid fire, so let's try to answer them as quick as possible. And then after rapid fire, we are going to go to a very quick break, so you guys don't go anywhere, but we will step back in and remind you guys before we go to break. So take it away, Sarah.
All right, Kerrie Lee Brown, number 1. Describe yourself as a teenager in 3 words.
Tall, athletic, and Farrah Fawcett hair. Is that more than 3 words?
Feathered hair. We all had it, girl.
Yeah.
Number 2, if you weren't in the magazine publishing writing world, what would you be doing for a living?
You know what? A lot of people have told me I should have went into HR. I think HR or life coaching, I think it's kind of one of those things where you're working with people and talking to them about personal, professional problems. And a lot of people come to me for that for some reason. So,
Fit to me. All right, number 3. Do you have any tattoos?
yeah. I do. I have lots of. I have actually almost a full full half sleeve here, and it goes around my back.
That's amazing. I would never pin that on.
You would never know it. You wouldn't even know it. But it's a tribute to my mom, actually, who passed away a few years ago. And I don't show it a lot, but when I do, usually at the motocross track, when I'm amongst my people, and and we're out there living life. So
I love that. All right, number 4. In the movie of your life, who would play you?
wow. Oh, geez. I'm gonna say someone like Michelle Pfeiffer or something.
Hey, that's a good one.
That's
Yeah.
a good deal. All right, number 5. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Oh gosh, people not picking up after themselves. I think that has to be it. And
You live with all boys.
and for
Hint.
nerves.
I deal with that, and I just live with my husband, so I can relate. All right, Kerrie, when are you most inspired?
I'm most inspired, I would have, and I know it's going to seem really sappy, but I think when I see my kids doing what they love to do, whether it's sports or hanging out with their friends or just talking to me openly on a walk. And I think that inspires me to be a better mom, to be a better person, and ultimately a better human being.
I love that answer. That's great because they're your boos and they light you up on the inside. Okay, number 7. If you could be any animal or mammal in the world, what would it be and why?
Oh my goodness.
Above ground, below ground.
You know what? I'm going to say a cheetah. And the reason why is because they're so fast. They get what they want and they can run away as fast as they can. Because sometimes I think too much. I think too much about my work, my personal relationships, and sometimes I just need to have a speed dim in me to get it all done.
I completely relate to that, Kerrie Lee Brown. 100%. I think that we could just roll as cheetahs together through the wild and
Let's do it.
very happy.
It's the next tattoo.
Hey, I like Cheetos. Does that count? Chester?
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop with those Cheetos, Monica. You're not helping to the COVID contribution. Okay, Kerrie, favorite place you've ever been?
I'm going to have to say Bahamas just because I was married there and I've been there a few times.
Gotcha. All right, number 9, what is your lifelong dream?
Oh, my lifelong dream is to just ultimately work for myself full time, lays on a beach and be working behind the computer and writing and potentially write another novel and have health and happiness for the whole family.
I see that happening.
Also,
Number 10, and I think this is my favorite question. What TV sitcom would you be a family member of and why?
oh my gosh, have you seen the Goldbergs?
No.
No, I haven't.
Okay, then forget that one. It's just an 80s show. Anyway,
Well, other people may have.
You know what? Let's just say the family of the Friends show, because even though they're just friends, they're a family, and they look like they had a lot of fun together. So I think I'd get along with them.
I love it.
Shout out to Jennifer Aniston if she's watching.
You never know where this will go.
You never know.
That's awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Those are great, fun questions. Okay, you guys, we are going to go to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Stick right where you are, and we have more information from Kerrie Lee Brown.
Hey guys, we're super excited to be here at the LA Fit Expo. It's our 3rd year in a row. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be launching the Tasty Pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs. And we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
This is here with us, Sarah Lyons Glabman, and our special guest tonight, Kerrie Lee Brown. Hello. Welcome back, ladies. All right, so we have someone that does know about the Goldbergs, Kerrie. Mark Ruben Juarez. So someone does know. And of course, John Butler says Married with Children, which was one of my favorite silly shows. So very good.
And I saw someone on there said Kristen Bell could play me.
Yeah, I could see that.
Maybe.
And thank you. John Butler says we all look amazing. So thank you, John. It's very, very nice.
Thanks, John.
Awesome. Well, I have so much fun just learning more about you, Kerrie, but I want to talk more about your book, My Heart, Myself. And without giving too much away, because I know we still have a question out there, which I don't know if anyone's answered yet. No. We need an answer, you guys. You guys are watching. It can be the same person, too, just saying. But so the question is for Aloe Life International Giveaway. What is the main theme for Kerrie's book, My Heart, Myself? So the main theme, you can do it. Okay, so back to that. Kerrie, why don't you talk to us, because you have in your book, you have 10 signs, right? And 10 brain exercises. So why don't we highlight 2? And I just have to say, we're coming up on the hour, which I'm okay going over a little bit. So hopefully you guys are too, and our viewers. Just so you know, I know that our hour is clicking away, but it's very hard when we come on with people that we know and care about to just have a very short amount of time to talk. So we're going to go over a little bit. And Kerrie, let's talk about two of the 10.
Okay, so this is my book, My Heart, Myself. It's a heartfelt guide for women who do too much, which is all women, basically. Men do as well, but believe me, this is just written from a woman's perspective. I wrote it a few years ago, and one of the signs, I'm going to read from here, so I hope you don't mind. I put my glasses on for a second.
No.
I include 10 signs you need to slow down, and one of the signs is you have the disease to please. And I think that that's all of us, isn't it? I mean, especially women in general. Women really want to please in all areas of their lives, whether it be with their kids, with their coworkers, with their friends, with their family, with their husbands, whoever. And I think that that's a big deal because it can add to your daily stressors in life. And I think that that's one of the things that caught up with me in my life, and hence why I had my heart attack and then I wrote my book. So that's one of the signs you need to slow down. And then, Monica, let's do number 2. Number 2 is you don't make time for you. And this all comes down to self-care, self-love, realizing that, you need to make yourself a priority as often as you can, even though it seems quite difficult in the time of chaos and craziness in the household or at work, and you have all these obligations. But that's why I wrote this book, My Heart, Myself, a guide for women, because it was really something that I felt had to be shared from a personal experience and a personal kind of journey, which is, my journey after my heart attack and stressors leading up to that. So those are 2 of the signs. I mean, there's 10 in here, but very helpful. And I have brain break exercises in here, like you mentioned, Monica, that, kind of guide you from a mental check-in perspective. They make you think. There's meditations. There's ways to kind of sit back and reevaluate, your current lifestyle. And I know I'm not like a qualified coach, but I just speak from the heart, and I also speak from life experience. So that's kind of what my book is all about. So it's a good one.
I know. And I think you just gave away the answer. So if someone was paying attention, they would get the answer too. And after a while, the lighting in here kind of creates my eyes to not see so well. So some of the comments I'm trying to see on the big screen and I still can't see them. So I know that Kona's over here on the side writing down any answers that we have for questions.
I'm with you. And now my eyelashes are hitting my glasses.
Oh, the problems of being a girl and glammed up. Oh my goodness. Okay, so there's 10 now. Just out of curiosity, Kerrie, how often do you go through those 10 steps for yourself to kind of analyze where you are for yourself to make sure that you're staying in a good place?
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, Monica, this is a short book. It's 138 pages. You can read it in a couple of hours.
Well, I can't wait to get my copy, by the way.
I know, and you should have received it, but you didn't in time, and I'm so sorry. But I tell you why I did it like that, on purpose. That was a strategy. I could have written forevermore. It's just that I wanted to make it short so that women could go back and they would want to read it again and again and keep it by their nightstand, by their bed, so they can go back. And that's what I do. I'll keep it beside my nightstand if I'm having, any kind of stress during the day, or even if I'm not, if I just feel like kind of taking a mental check-in break, reading, my own story. Because when you read your own stories back, it's interesting how it can affect you, because then you realize how far you've come since all of that in your life. And I wrote this, a few years ago, but it still resonates with me today. So I would say I'd probably go back through the checklist and all the signs, probably, a few, like maybe even twice a week. And I go back through, to remind myself of all the different ways I can kind of reevaluate my own stress and my triggers and what I went through to get to where I am today. So I hopefully don't repeat some of the stressful things I had been going through, because a lot of times, and most of the time, we don't realize what stress can do to the body physically. And it's not just a mental thing we have to deal with. It's what happens to you physically as a result. And that's what happened to me when I had to have heart surgery 7 years ago. The stress of work, the stress of family, and the hustle and bustle of, my commute to work, which was way too long. And it caught up with me. And so my mission since writing the book, of course, has been to spread awareness to women about heart health, but also ways to slow down. So I highly recommend it.
I love it. Where can people find it?
It's available on Amazon under My Heart Myself, Kerrie Lee Brown, a heartfelt guide for women who do too much. Or you can go to redlilylife.com, which is my passion project, my women's storytelling platform, because I'm now selling it on there as well with my new wellness line as well.
Okay, I can't wait to talk about that, because that's the next thing we're going into. Is the book audio or just hard copy?
It's hard copy on redlilylife.com, but on Amazon you can get the hard copy or the digital copy as well, like an ebook. So if you have an e-reader or whatever, And like I said, it's kind of the start to my, it was a part of my journey in writing it, and I hope that comes across in the way it was written. And so far, I've had some really good feedback from women, and men as well, actually, on where it's taken them in their own journey as well. So I hope it helps people.
Isn't that awesome when you can help other people with your own story and your own sharing or taking time? That's such a wonderful thing, because there's so few ways that we can really help other people. But when we know that our story has been that for others, it's really a blessing, and it's inspiring for us to continue doing that. And I know both of you have stories in your life where you have, since I know you both so well, I know that's been, that has been for you both as well, being able to help others through your story. So that's pretty cool. Well, so tell us about Red Lily platform and more about that, and I love the name. So you have to share with us where that name came from.
Yeah. So it's kind of been a passion project of mine since I wrote my book. I always knew I wanted to help women. I wanted to help them through stressful times. I wanted to share awareness about self-care. So when I wrote my book, I had thought about starting a platform for women to be able to give them, obviously a space to be safe and to share their own stories. So redlilylife.com is the URL. And on there, you can go on there. I have over 50 contributors right now who have written stories about anything in their life that's gone on, good, the bad, the ugly, everything. But I really wanted to encourage women, whoever wants to write for me, to always come out with a positive message in the end. And that's the whole point behind it. And I have more on what the platform does on my founder's letter there. But I also knew that coming from traditional publishing as a journalist, there's so many women out there who have messages and real stories that could help people, but who don't necessarily have, the experience to get published in a traditional publication, or even the means or the network to. So I wanted to start a really authentic platform where I could help people do that. So it's, the whole mantra is basically strength through storytelling, and it's all authentic stories. And I help people, edit them and get some pictures up there so they can share their kind of message. So that's how redlilylife.com started a year ago, almost a year ago. I launched it and have many, many contributors, many stories to still edit and get up there. And I look forward to putting them up. And then, and from that, I always knew I wanted to help women in another way. And that was the evolution of Red Lily and the Red Lily lifestyle. So I registered, trademarked Red Lily. The name Red Lily is an interesting one. I came up with that myself. So after a lot of brainstorming and thinking of what would resonate with women, I wanted like a yin yang kind of brand. So the red, of course, is for strength and for empowerment and confidence. And then it's also my favorite color. And then the lily is the feminine side, where it's like authenticity, courage, innocence and journey. And so I just basically put the two words together and called it Red Lily. I mean, there was a million things it could have been called. I thought it was catchy as well. So now I've launched Red Lily Wellness. Literally just today is kind of the first time I'm actually announcing it to the world. So thank you, Monica. And I've come out with not only, of course, my book is a self-help and, a mental kind of empowerment kind of avenue for women. But I've also just launched a new vitamin, and it's an all-natural heart health vitamin that I encourage any woman to take. And that's now available on that site as well. So it's all an evolution of my own story and what I feel is not only helpful to others, but also going to help me in my own life, because I use the product and I also read my book over and over to remind me. So, it's just kind of an evolution of my own story.
I was going to say, the red color also signifies heart.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the blood's flowing through it. So I thought that might have been part of it, but maybe now it can be too.
Well, it is. Well, yeah, there's a lot of it. I mean, love is red, and desire and passion and all these really strong words. And of course, heart. And you'll see on my website, heart, health, happiness, home is kind of a main kind of theme there. And I really want the platform redlilylife.com to be for women to go and feel safe and to find some nuggets or some inspirational stories that they can, think about or go back to or share with their own social platforms and basically just kind of feel like they're a part of a community. And that's really what I'm trying to do.
Maybe 3 years ago, I want to say maybe 3 years ago, I was invited out to Riverside, California, and I was a guest speaker at a very large medical, it was a hospital. It was a Riverside Hospital, Riverside Methodist Hospital, I think. And they have every year around February, they've got their heart health agenda, and they have a big event. So they had almost 1,000 people there, and they had a fashion show, and I was the guest speaker, and I was the last speaker of the day after all these doctors. And I had to put a big presentation together, and my presentation was called Got Heart, instead of Got Milk, Got Heart.
Oh, right.
And I had kind of a breakdown for the HEART. And of course, I got to wear a red gown, and it was really fun. But the funny thing is, the gown that I chose, I bought out there, and the woman who was in charge of the entire event had the same gown on. So we were like, hey, girl. Wait, what?
Who wore it better?
I don't know. We both did. It was so beautiful. Like, she looked great in it, and I thought I looked good in it. We got some pictures together, and we laughed about it. It was really cute. But Sarah, it's a red gown that I wore with Ace when we shot with Ace.
I was going to ask the next. Do I know this gown?
Yeah.
I actually went to the Heart Ball here in Denver, actually last February of this year. So there's a lot of amazing heart kind of, awareness kind of events and all that thing. And I think it's just such an important thing that we all think about, and at any stage, in any age, really, in any gender. So.
Well, one of the things that I always try to encourage people, because, you get the question that's like, you have 2 minutes and someone says, well, what can I do to get healthy? Or like, what should I do exercise-wise? They have this big, giant question that's open-ended, and you have 2 minutes. And I'm like, so I have a standard answer now that kind of, number one is, well, you can hire me for, doing programs for you. And if that's not going to work, then number two, just think about, you've got to get your heart pumping very strong a couple times a week. And it can't be from being afraid. It needs to be from exercise.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there's lots of other things, right? Like increase your water intake and all that. But and my product, Heart, it's called Heart, a Heart daily support for women.
Yes.
It's basically something that increases blood circulation to the extremities.
Nice.
It's scientifically proven and tested and everything. There's a lot more information about that on my website, but it's something that's all natural. It's veggie caps, vegan friendly and everything. And it's just a really good supplementation to add to your daily vitamin ritual. And it's something that obviously is close to my heart, literally.
Yes.
Because of my own experience with heart health and my husband's now too. And it just kind of goes. I mean, I'm the heart spokesperson now, and I really feel like it's such an important thing,
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited it's a vitamin because I honestly don't have a good vitamin that I have attached myself to. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to try it and have it available and be able to send people there to pick it up for themselves. So that's cool. Maybe sometime we can give that as a giveaway on the show one day.
Yeah, for sure. And actually I was going to say, if you want to just mention it, that people have access right now to the website, and the promo code for 20% off if you want.
Oh, yes, let's do that. Okay. So let's start that over. So everyone get your pen out. And we can also send post. I can do a post. And when I get the products, I can do that too, Kerrie. So, Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
Yeah, but okay. So everyone's got their pen out, ready to go. Kerrie, why don't you share where people can get the product, get your book, and what is this discount code and what is it for?
So you can go to redlilylife.com and you can go to the shop section, the new store, and you can pick up, this is the Heart product, what it looks like. I was wishing that Monica had hers yet, but this is it.
I'll get it tomorrow.
This is all mine, my design with, R&D and my husband helped with his background. But all the information's there. And if you're interested in that, and of course, my book here, My Heart Myself, you can go to the store and you can get 20% off your entire purchase if you use the promo code HEART20. So
that's HEART, lowercase, a good?
Yeah, and then 20.
And then the number 20.
Yeah, for 2020. So so HEART20, and honestly, there's no limit on that right now because I just launched. So I hope that people go in and, tell your friends. And I do have plans in the work to launch more things down the road. So it's never ending with me. I think it's because redlilylife.com is really an extension of me. And I'm not just doing it as a business. It's really my own personal journey, and everything I'm doing, I'm adding to my own repertoire to be able to live as happily and healthily as possible too. So that's kind of where it's all coming from. And that's where the authenticity comes from behind the site, which I hope you kind of get when you go there.
I'm sure everyone will. And thank you so much. That's awesome that you have a discount code. It's, at this time of life right now, everybody's kind of pinching pennies and looking for some good health things and some good motivation, but, also trying to watch their pennies, especially school coming back and all of that. So thank you for that. That's very sweet. And when I get my products, which I'm probably going to get tomorrow.
Probably.
Yes, I'll do another little post for you and make sure to type that in, and everyone can know where to go to get those products with that discount code. How long is the discount code lasting?
Well, that's what I was saying. Right now, I'm going to have it up for the next probably week and a half. So, I mean, it's kind of supplies last. We got our first shipment in and doing everything from the house. It's a, small business. It's what women do. Entrepreneurs, we have to hustle. So I would say go on as soon as possible because the shop is now live.
I like that. Go now. Hey, and if you guys have birthday coming up, or I can't say Mother's Day because that was already, we don't want to buy for now for Mother's Day for next year, but birthdays coming up or anniversaries or hey, those of you guys watching right now, and maybe for Christmas, so you get some Christmas shopping done early. Hint, hint, hint. For those of you that save Christmas presents for the wink, wink.
It's a great
Labor Day. I mean, you can get stuff now and have it, saved away. Did you ever see the those movies? I'm thinking of the Christmas Vacations when he gets stuck up in the attic during Christmas.
Yeah.
And he's pulling out all the old presents that he stuffed up in the attic.
Yeah. Well, the thing
years
is,
ago.
it's the color of Christmas.
Yes, you just put a bow right on top. And you're
yeah,
good.
and it's also a perfect stocking stuffer. Perfect stocking stuffer along with my book. So, I mean, I can't say it again that I really appreciate this, Monica and Sarah, for allowing me to share my story and being able to share the products I'm so proud of, but also I really did produce them and create them to be able to help others out there. So I hope that kind of resonates and thanks again.
Absolutely.
Some bottles, absolutely.
So I've got answers. Oh, one answer? No, we didn't get the second question. Okay.
Although she said it multiple times.
Yes. So maybe the second question was way too hard, but we did get an answer for the first question. How many Oxygen magazine covers was I on? Well, Miss Kerrie here was the editor, and the answer was 3. And Mark, I haven't had to say your last name, Augustinelli. Thank you, Mark, for playing our game. You're the winner. So, Mark, if you could please, hopefully you're still on here, email me info@monicabrant.com and send me your shipping address. That would be helpful. That way I can get your information to Legendary Foods and we can get you your product. And you know what, Kerrie, what I might do for you, since no one answered your question, I'm going to have Aloe Life send you the giveaway product because their line is very beautiful for digestive health. Okay. And I've been using it personally myself for almost 4.5 years.
Wow. Okay. I'd love to try it.
It's beautiful. It's a great product line. And I'm going to have the owner come on she's coming on in November. She's coming in. And so I can't wait. You'll have to come in and listen to her, her show too. But she's brilliant. And her product line is beautiful, and I think you'll really appreciate all of her stuff and who she is. And she's got books she's written too. So,
oh, great! Well,
I'm going to send you the Aloe Life International goodie bag.
Yay! Thank you, Monica. That's great. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Kerrie, why don't you share with everyone how people can find you? I know you've said, redlilylife.com. I have to slow that one down.
I know.
But can you share how people can find you on other platforms?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Kerrie Lee Brown, Kerrie. My name is right there. It's often spelled wrong. That's why I like to spell it. And on Facebook, of course, it's Kerrie Lee Brown _ author. And then my Red Lily platform is at Red Lily on Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest. But of course, it's all tied together under at Kerrie Lee Brown on Instagram. So anywhere you go see Kerrie Lee Brown, you'll probably see Red Lily ties as well. So if you're interested in what I have to do and what I'm offering, then Red Lily would be a good place for you to go and and follow and connect with me too. And
lastly, do you do your own social media?
I do. And I need some likes. So I do all my own social. I do all my own posting, and I really try to stay on top of everything I'm doing, media-wise and publishing and writing and all my freelance. I still freelance too. I mean, that's the thing. If anybody needs a writer or editor.
Well, I know I still want you to do the editing for my book when I get around to doing it.
Yeah, I'm going to hold you to that. Now it's on video that you said that.
I know, man. I think God's still preparing me for what I need to write is what I think.
You know what? It has to come at the right time. It's like anything, right? A business venture, a book, a change in a job. You know that. It's just, it has to come at the right time, and you have to be able to do it with the right people surrounding you. So it'll happen. I know it will.
Awesome. Sarah, do you see any messages that we need to address? Have you seen any? Because I'm having a hard time seeing things.
I'm going to rewind about 10 minutes. I saw John, our good friend John on here, had commented on Kerrie, how important your book was to him as well. So it didn't just apply for women overdoing it, but it applied for men overdoing it as well, because he was married with, loved reading the book because I'm married with 2 daughters. And it was, because, I need my glasses. And it was an eye-opener for me. Males can get a lot out of this book for sure. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
for women.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of readers, actually, like wives who have left the book around and their husband or boyfriend's picked it up and they said, hey, I can read this and learn some stuff too. So it's really about slowing down in life in general for anyone. So.
Kona, will you go back to his message there, please? Because it looked like there was somebody that maybe had, go back up. Go back. Listen to your body and take time for yourself. Ruben, that might have been close to the Aloe answer. Listen to your body and take time for yourself. Because I think we kind of said, learning how to slow down was, right, the biggest thing.
Yeah, but the listen to your body part is actually in the book as well, though. It's listening to your body and when you need to slow down. So he's hit the nail on the head right there.
So Ruben, you are a faithful listener. I might need to send him something too. Ruben has a beautiful family. We got to do a photo shoot while Sarah was here in town. We got to do a photo shoot with him, his wife, and they're two adorable girls. And some of those pictures, and with a beautiful yellow horse. I say yellow because not everyone knows what Palomino is, but yeah, the pictures are just stunning, and the girls were so cute, and the wife. I mean, it was really, really special. In fact, I got all choked up when they were leaving. I felt like they were family already. So, well, shoot. Okay, so Sarah, do you have any other questions? Because we're probably getting really close to having to say bye to everybody.
I am locked and loaded, but Kerrie, I just want to congratulate you on all your success. I love Red Lily Life. I was on there for at least 15 minutes the other day when I was just cruising around and, checking your links and just doing my homework on you. And I'm really, really impressed with everything that you've created with your platforms. So,
thank you so much, Sarah. And I do want you to contribute to my platform as well, because I know you have a great story, and the more we can share, obviously, all our stories and share them and everything, the more inspiring we can all be. So thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing.
So exciting. Well, Kerrie, we're going to let you get back to your beautiful family tonight. And so thankful that we had this time with you. God bless you. Stay fit. Love life. And Sarah, you and I will hang out here and finish out the show together.
There
we go.
For everything.
Bye, Kerrie.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
All
Thanks
right.
so much.
Bye, sweetheart. All right. So that was awesome, Sarah.
She's amazing. She's
right.
everything. Oh,
that was awesome. It was fun to talk to her and just hear all the different things. And you know what? I'm seeing this shadow. Like, if we wait another 5 minutes, the shadow's going to take you over.
No, it's just my light. It's because.
Doesn't it look like it's going to slowly take? Oh, there it goes.
No, there we go. Yeah,
Woo, look at that. That's better. We got 10 minutes instead of 5. All right. So just kidding about that. So I'm excited. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Sarah, being here too and visiting. And I love the rapid fire questions. Those were awesome.
Thank you. A little bit creative on those, had to pull something out of the hat, but you know what? She was worth it. She's absolutely a very unique woman and love sharing the time with her.
Absolutely. So I'm going to see you in about a month, a little over a month.
I know. We're doing.
I know, right? Epic Scottsdale, Arizona.
Epic Arizona. It's going down.
Right. So if anyone is interested in coming out and shooting images with us,
and
go to epicdestinationshoot.com and shoot with us. And let's see that magazine again.
Well, yeah, but I want to show people really is that Miss Monica.
Oh, me?
Is the associate editor.
Woo!
So Monica's like going
there I am.
with her associate editor position and just writing all kinds of really cool stuff for the magazine. And I'm so happy that you're on board, like officially, with the magazine. So we've got a lot of new stuff that's going to be happening with BodyScape and lots of opportunities for publishing in a very beautiful, tangible print magazine that is on fire right now.
Absolutely. And I love your cover. It's so fresh and pretty, and I'm looking forward to getting Teresa Miller on as our guest in the future.
Yes, I know. Sent her an email today.
I know.
She's all in. Why wouldn't she be?
Right. So next week, you guys join us again every Tuesday night. I've got a huge lineup coming up for the next few months. I'm actually into November. I'm holding off on December right now because it's a holiday month and nobody knows exactly what they're doing. But I'm booked all of my Tuesdays coming up through November right now. And next week we've got Mr. First Classic Mr. Olympia, Danny Hester.
Whoa.
I know, changing it up, girl. Coming into one of the guys, back to one of the guys. So Danny and I worked together back in 96, 97 with EAS and Muscle Media. We have covers together, and we were actually on the back of a delivery truck that used to drive across, like a big, huge picture, and used to drive across the country. So kind of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, they're across Biloxi, Mississippi.
I know. I actually was traveling one time from Texas to California, and I saw the truck going by, and I'm like, if it's on the other side, I don't know. It was just because I could see the EAS on the side of the truck, and then you saw us on the back. It was like the
Another
back.
one of those I wish Kona was there moments to like
Exactly.
that.
Get that on film. Like, we didn't have video stuff back then, but anyways, good memories, and it'll be fun next week too. So Sarah, thank you so much.
Oh,
You guys, yeah, make sure everybody go check out Sarah's Instagram, Facebook, bodyscapemag.com is where you can find Bodyscape. I do have some of my own issues. If you're interested in getting one signed, I can get one for you. So if you're interested in that, email info@monicabrant.com. I can give you more details about that. And we got to go.
Bye, y'all. Thank you for joining in.
We're out of here, guys. See you next week. Stay fit, love life. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us tonight.
Bye.